It's also a yeah.
Hey everyone, we're recording live.
Good day, everybody. Thanks so much for stopping by. Guys, we're super stoked today. We've got a friend on who we've known for a long time. She is super driven by creating a world of sustainable fashion. She's an entrepreneur that loves adventure, driven by positivity. Please welcome Jaiya Varshney to Impact Podcast. How you doing, Jaiya? It's good to see you.
Hello.
It's
Thank
been
you for
so
having me.
long.
I know. Thank you for having me. It's nice to see you both.
Of
Yeah, it's
course.
so nice. It's been quite a long time. I remember we all used to go together quite a few times. We used to go down to Mexico and build homes for the less fortunate and whatnot.
Yeah,
And yeah, it was we went many times and we had a really great time. And I think it changed all of our lives. I really think it did. It made a
100%.
profound effect on all of us. And so yeah, it's so cool to reconnect after a little while and check in and see what you've been up to, because you've been up to so many really cool things. And there's one thing that Devin and I do with our guests to kind of loosen them up a bit and loosen the audience up a bit, is we do something called a couple of truths and a lie. So you sent me something over today. Actually, how about if you read them to us, and then Devin and I are going to guess which one is a lie, if you got them there, or do you
Yeah,
remember what they are? Yeah,
I can. I just have to pull them up.
yeah, no problem.
Um, I think they're a little random, but
Random is good.
um,
It's good.
okay. Number one, I almost got attacked by a shark in Hawaii.
Ooh,
Number
ooh.
two, I fled from a potential hippo attack and ran into a tree.
Oh God.
Oh my
Number
gosh.
Number three, I saw the last white rhino a day before it died.
Oh, oh, oh
That
man.
was a little sad.
Oh gosh.
Oh boy.
I'm so terrified.
You're
I'm so
terrified from all
scared of
of us.
sharks. Sharks are big fear. But hippos, though, yeah, they're like super dangerous, right? Everyone's like, oh, they're super chill. And then you go by the water and you see their little eyes, and you're like,
Yeah,
oh man.
It's
And
true.
yeah, they're
they're
scary.
fast.
Yeah.
So that's a tough one. What do you think
Mm.
there, Nige?
And the rhino.
Hmm.
Hmm.
I am thinking you ran from a hippo into a tree or up a tree. I don't know. That's mine. The hippo.
That one's a
Yeah,
lie.
that's the lie. But Dev's gonna guess one here too.
I think you ran from a hippo and ran into a tree. I think that did happen. I think that did
Yeah,
happen.
those darn
That sounds
hippos.
hilarious. I mean, and the shark thing, you know what? I'm gonna say I have to do. Maybe the white rhino thing. I thought I heard something about white rhinos dying a long time ago, but I could be wrong. And if that is true, that is very sad. But I guess we are gonna find out in 2 seconds here.
Um,
Hmm.
okay.
How do we do?
Um, both
Hmm.
unfortunately wrong.
Wrong.
Oh,
I swam with
Um,
sharks, but did not come close enough, nearly close enough to potentially get attacked. But I did get very scared by a hippo on a safari.
oh.
Um, no one saw the hippo, and it just started creeping up on all of us. Was running before I even realized, and ran stuck into a tree. Um,
oh no.
Is that right?
yeah, it was pretty embarrassing. It was pretty bad.
Oh, that's good. No, that's a good one. That's
Um,
a good one.
yeah, and unfortunately, also did see the last white northern rhino before
Oh,
the last male died. So
Oh, that's
those are
terrible.
my
oh,
random two truths and a lie for you.
wow. Oh
Those are good
man.
ones. That's wild. That's super wild.
Yeah, and you sent a beautiful photo actually over of you swimming with the shark. It's a really cool photo because it's like you're up, I don't know if you were snorkeling, and then right below you was that kind of shark cruising along.
Yeah,
That was
yeah.
a really cool. That's a really cool. And it was neat because it was a it was almost like the abyss, because you see the shark, but there was nothing, but like, you couldn't see the bottom,
Hmm.
you couldn't see anything. It was just kind of open ocean. Yeah.
That's
Yeah, it almost looks
terrifying.
photoshopped.
Yeah, it's a great photo. A great photo.
Yeah.
So yeah, since you've been, running into trees from rhinos and swimming with sharks, um you're you're now working with creating or helping to create sustainable fashion, which I find is fascinating because remember, Dev, we were during COVID, we were all locked down and we took part in the Surfrider. We do some work with the Surfrider Foundation,
Yeah.
helping protect the oceans and stuff like that. And one of our friends, Lily Woodbury, who we've interviewed twice, shout out to Lily. She does an amazing,
Yeah,
amazing environmental work around the globe.
legend.
We saw a film and it was about fashion, the fashion industry or the clothes industry, and the stuff that we put in the, say, the Salvation Army bin. Some of it stays, but most of it gets shipped off to a massive sorting spot in Europe somewhere, then ends up in Africa and getting
Mhm.
rebranded and resold and stuff like that. So yeah, it's something I had no idea goes on. You
Yeah.
think you donate it and it goes to people here or North America or wherever, that, but it actually gets shipped off and it becomes another economy.
Well, interesting on that video. Well, first of all,
Mm,
textile industry is the second biggest polluter in the world after oil
yes.
and gas. So a lot of
Yeah.
people don't realize just how much waste is in the apparel industry. And on the note of that video, I actually got the chance to volunteer in Kenya for a month last year. And it
Ah,
was about teaching entrepreneurship to people who have a business or have a business idea. And a lot of them were around that concept of Matumba, which is secondhand clothing, just because
Mm.
they are one of the spots that just get sent a lot of
right.
destined landfill clothing.
Sorry, what's it called again? It's called was it
They
Matumba?
call it Matumba, which essentially
Matumba.
just means,
Matumba. Ah,
yeah, which essentially means secondhand clothing.
interesting. Yeah, because I
Mhm.
know in that video there that the shipments would come in and people would sort through it, they would get what they wanted, and then a lot of them or some of them would go into the little shops or what, and they'd rebrand it. They'd put Nike stuff on it. They'd put,
Mhm.
Arc'teryx, whatever it was, and then
Mm.
off it goes to the markets, and they would sell it as, yeah,
Yeah,
very interesting. Very
yeah.
interesting. Yeah, yeah.
It was very interesting because the just the way entrepreneurship is flourishing in a country like Kenya, and
Hmm.
yeah, it was great to see and great experience to be there.
Mm.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it does. The thing is, it creates a second economy, which is actually, first you look at it and you go, oh, okay, they're taking this stuff that's being donated, but then again, it's creating work and whatnot for people over there. That's the way I kind of saw it. Is that the way you're seeing it as well?
Yeah, I mean, I mean, there's a positive lining to everything, and I think
Yeah.
that is a great.
Mm.
It is. It's just one of the industries, I guess, that's become as a result
Mm,
of, I guess, the more privileged Western
right.
nation has
Mm.
too much clothing. Um,
Hmm.
so it's one of those things that I guess, depending how you look at it, can be a positive thing. But I think um, having that much clothing, it does create some opportunity for some of the entrepreneurs in
Yeah.
Kenya.
Hmm.
As you could see in the video, like I'd
Mm.
say a good portion of that is still going straight to landfills, and they're just going to
Right.
landfills near their own homes. So
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it
yeah.
definitely blows my mind just thinking about how like wasteful we are in just in day to
Yeah.
day and how it just goes super like it's out of sight, out of mind type thing, like from like food, like production of food, like all over the world, like especially here, throwing stuff out in dumpsters. Like I've watched pages of dudes just like doing dumpster dives and like
Hmm.
collecting all this like good stuff. And I remember I worked for I won't say them, but I worked for like a high fashion store for a while, for a
Oh
number of
yeah.
years there. And I
Yeah.
remember just seeing like it was like the new thing of the month. What's the new thing of the month? What's the new thing? And
Yeah.
and then they'd have like a blowout sale. And I'm like, this came in like last week.
Yeah.
And then all that stuff will go to the warehouse. And you're like, where does all that go? So you're on the front
Wow.
lines of understanding like where that actually goes, which blows my mind because everyone's just like, oh, we see what's in the stores. You know, my buddies have like a big thrift store, and then they go to like the warehouses way out in like Surrey, and they're just like, yeah, it's the craziest thing ever. It's just hallways and warehouses and warehouses and warehouses of just clothes all boxed in little
Hmm.
cubes, and then we
Yeah.
ship them all over the world. I was like, that's just seems
Wow.
so wasteful because we want new things. We're always like new stuff. We need new
Hmm.
stuff,
Hmm.
fresh stuff, new ideas. We're bored. Come on.
Well,
Hmm.
especially in this day and age, when you look at the way social media portrays, it's like people always want
Yes.
to be wearing the next new thing. You can't be repeating an outfit. And
Right.
then when you think about that, like the average cotton t-shirt is what, 2,700 liters of water.
Mm.
And then the average garment, I think, is worn like 1.3 times. Don't quote me. I need to
Oh my
double check that, but
gosh.
it's
Yeah.
Oh
something
my
like that.
gosh. Wow.
And so when you just think about how wasteful that is,
Mm.
and then you think about like the Sheins of the world where you can buy these things now for like a couple of dollars, which is not, I saw it was a
Right.
saying
Mhm.
somewhere. It's like if you're not paying the true cost, someone else is. And so that just means
Mm.
someone along the supply chain is is hurting or paying that cost in whatever way, whether it's financially or just like their working conditions, whatever it is. Um,
Yeah.
yeah. So there's a lot of issues in the fashion industry.
Yeah, and you said it's the number one or it's number two polluter over, with the oil and
Yeah,
gas
from
industry
an
and oil and
environmental
gas
perspective.
first.
Yeah.
Environmental. Wow. Wow.
Yeah. And 90% of which is coming from the material level of production. And so that is what the startup that I'm working at right now, Fiber.bio, is working
Hmm.
towards um, tackling the material level of production. So we're an material innovations company. And so
Okay.
we're
Mm.
making a sustainable replacement to spandex, polyester, and nylon because,
Ah,
yes. And so those are the fabrics that are probably the most polluting when it comes to apparel because they're all petroleum derived.
yes, they are. Yeah. And then the residual is like the microfibers that come off of all of that, all of the plastic
Hmm.
based clothing, right? I remember was it Lily Woodbury was mentioning
Mm.
something that because we wash our clothes, we put our clothes in the washing machine, in the dryer, but then every time we do that, microfibers are released into
Mm.
the residual water that comes out and then it goes out and ends up in our oceans. And
Hmm.
these microfibers are the things that are, they're accumulating and they're building up. And every bit of clothing that we have, other than cotton, I think this is cotton.
Yeah.
But anything, most of the other stuff, my pants, they're all based on like a plastic based stuff, right?
Yeah.
So
And you don't
that's
even realize
really
it.
interesting.
Like
No, no, we don't realize it.
like if you feel your clothing right now, if it has a little bit of stretch to it, it likely
Yeah,
has a petroleum derived fiber
sure.
intertwined into the garment, whether that's like a
Yeah.
10% blend or whatever it is. Like as a population generally, we are
Hmm.
addicted to stretchy clothing. We
Mm.
want it to be comfortable and just like stretchy.
Right.
Yeah, like the old 501 Levi jeans don't cut it anymore. The ones that were like
Yeah.
rigid planks that I grew up with, and you had to beat them and so many times to make them fit. And now it's just like you buy a pair of jeans and it stretches it perfect right to your
Yeah.
legs,
Mm.
and it's right. It's like,
Yeah.
now you walk in, you say, "Hey, has it got the stretch? Has it got the spandex in it? I want those."
Yeah.
And that's just the way it's evolved.
Exactly. And so right now there's no sustainable alternative to a stretchy fiber. And so
Mm.
that is what the mission of Fiber.bio is going towards is creating stretchy fibers that are made from organic bio waste.
Right,
Wow.
right.
And
Very interesting. And so now also, I know you probably don't want to, um, toot your own horn, but this is incredible. So you're also now, I don't know if you're one of the finalists, but you're on this new reality show called, was it Plus One Eco
Eco
Odyssey? Is that
Odyssey.
what it is?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So could you tell us a little bit about that? It's really, really cool.
Yeah. It's the first time they're doing it.
Uh-huh.
I applied on a whim. Another founder friend of mine sent me the application and I applied really last minute. And the premise of the show is to inspire youth who are working on climate tech ideas and to encourage them on their entrepreneurial journeys.
Mm-hmm.
And so I applied, I got selected. I've what the show is going to be like a they've picked 8 entrepreneurs around the
Uh-huh.
world, each
Wow.
representing a different country, each in a different industry when it comes to climate tech. And they've made us do a series of mini challenges and challenges
Uh-huh.
that range from I'm not sure if I'm really allowed to say, but they just
Yeah.
range
You
and
signed the NDA. You signed.
So the
yeah,
NDA,
that's what
that's
I was
right.
saying, and I was like, I don't think I'm allowed to say this yet. Random activities, and
Cool.
then the finale is going to be coming up soon, and
Oh.
then the winner will be getting 50K in support of their ventures.
Oh, that's fantastic. What a great
Yeah,
initiative. That's fantastic.
yeah.
Mm.
So has it all been filmed? So yet?
Most of it.
Most of it's been filmed.
Most of it
Okay.
has been filmed already. And yeah, I'm excited for it to come out. It's going to be released on the YouTube channel,
Mm-hmm.
um, World Tree Productions, and the series is called Plus One Eco Odyssey. And this series is all about water conservation. And if it
Right,
does
right.
well, they are looking at maybe doing another season that might be higher um,
Mm-hmm.
on another platform that could have more viewers. I'm really trying to be careful with what I say. Um, yeah, but it's exciting. I'm excited by it.
So it's
It's
kind of like a sustainable Shark's Tank or Dragon's Den, but in a kind of in a cool way. Like
yeah,
in a,
it's like
you know what I,
Dragon's Den
you
meets
know.
Survivor.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, but not
Okay.
that intense. Not as
Yeah.
intense as
Yeah.
Survivor.
Swimming with sharks and running from hippos. I think,
Yeah.
well,
Actually,
You've done the groundwork. It'll be
one of the
easy now.
entrepreneurs
yeah.
is industry is all about sharks. I don't know a lot about it
Really?
yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. Nice.
So yeah, you
Wow.
should
Wow.
watch it when it comes out on YouTube.
Yes, what we're going to do is we're going to put everything in the notes and everything here so people can click on it and they can like it and they can share it and they can share it and they can share it with all their friends and whatnot, right? So that's going to be
Amazing.
yeah, yeah, we can't wait for that. So yeah, so that's what you're full on engaged in right now, hey, is all of this and
Yeah. I'm
yeah.
excited by it because I think like I love what they're trying to do, just trying to inspire youth just to take action. I mean, similarly to your book, just like
Mm,
taking a shot, I think is the premise of taking the leap.
right,
Um,
right. Mm,
is what the main objective of the show is to get other youth just to try and feel empowered to feel like they can.
Mm.
yeah, yeah. Wow, this is super, super exciting. Man. So yeah, I can't wait for that to come out. Dev, you got any it
Oh,
sounds like
dude,
you're
we're all gonna check it out. We'll all be cheering for you. We'll pull the popcorn. It'll be a whole thing.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
hopefully.
so could you tell us
I
a little
believe
bit
in
more,
you.
not about the show, but about what you're doing with the fibers? I mean, if is there any proprietary information you don't have to tell us, but
Yeah.
so what's the premise behind, replacing the stretchy, spandexy things and, you know, um let Chip Wilson know, Lululemon guys about this stuff. This sounds amazing.
Yeah. Um, so yeah, as I mentioned, we're trying to replace spandex, polyester, and nylon, which are
Yeah.
all petroleum derived. They're uneconomical to recycle. They're a source of microplastics and not
Mm-hmm.
biodegradable, and there currently is no alternative that exists.
Mm.
And
Right.
when you think about like I believe it's 60% of the global apparel market uses stretchy fibers. So
Mm.
that means like if like you have your classic like athletic pant, that's probably 100% performance fibers. Performance fibers pretty much meaning um, spandex, polyester, nylon.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
And 60% of all clothing, not just athletic wear, has a little bit of that performance fiber in it. So it's like it's very present in the apparel industry.
Mm-hmm.
And what we're trying to do is we've created a fiber that is bio-based that can replace spandex and nylon. And we're using problematic bio-waste. So we're able to transform things like crustacean shells, seaweed,
Okay.
fruit peels, and using our proprietary programmed novel bacteria, we're able to turn all these waste products into fully compostable and stretchy fibers.
Wow.
And so when we have these fibers, it would be like the process in itself is carbon negative. We have net zero waste. It's
Mm.
recyclable. It's biodegradable. It's all these really great things. And right now we're at the fiber level of development, and we are trying to scale up to get to a fabric. And once we have a fabric, that will be a different story. But
Mm.
it's been a journey. Uh,
Wow.
yeah,
Wow. Wow, that's unbelievable. Love it. Love it. I love
yeah.
the using all these like the crustaceans and all this other stuff to make fabric.
Our
Yeah.
scientists were very inspired by just looking into
Mm-hmm.
nature and seeing how like we are able to solve problems naturally and looked
Yeah.
what are some of the methods that are being done in a natural environment and trying to replicate them in a lab. And so that was a big source of inspiration for the beginnings of this project. And honestly, it's just very inspiring because when you think like nature is capable of doing so many incredible things,
Hmm.
different species of plants, animals, and using that as a source of inspiration is like, I think, a great starting point for a lot of people who are interested in trying
Mm,
to innovate in any respective field.
mm,
Wow. I think you're right. I think if we look closer back on the natural world has so much to share with us, but we've kind of had blinders on for so many hundreds of years. And now it's, we're starting to realize that, hey, they nature did it first. They did it
Yeah.
better than whatever we could
mm,
ever do, to learn. There's an interesting there was an interesting what do you call it? The Maya people and the indigenous people in the Amazon and the North American indigenous people. There was the whole thing about the world's changing in 2012. Is that your cat? In 2012 there was going to be a changeover,
Sorry,
Mayan
guys.
changeover. It's when our modern world is what we are, right? They call it the eagle and the condor, the prophecy of the eagle and condor. If you look it up, prophecy of the eagle and condor says during this time that we live in right now, that the modern world, which is what we live in, and the natural world are going to well, number one is they're going to have to come together and learn from each other, and
Yeah.
when they do, it's going to create a whole new era for life on our planet. And that's exactly what you're talking about. I
Mm,
think learning from nature and us learning from nature and working together to create something sustainable and better for the planet. And that's exactly what you're doing, which is incredible. And it's really neat that to see you, since, well, actually, I think we knew when you were born. I think we were all in Thailand together when you were 3 months old. Kina was
Me
3 months
too.
old and you were 3 months old. And then we were in
Yeah.
Mexico many, many times. And then just sitting on that I just remember sitting on that bus, that little mini bus going out to the work site. And I don't know, you were like 10 or 11 or something. And then you were just had this spark. You had this spark. You're asking all these really cool questions. And you're always interested in the environment. And then you're talking about the straws and getting rid of straws, and that was when you were really young. And then people, told two friends about it too. And then what do you know? Straws became this thing that now we've almost eradicated or replaced with sustainable products, right? So we've always seen a spark in you, and now to chat with you now is really super cool, and super proud of of you and what you've been able to do and what you're doing, and your journey is just fabulous. So
Thank you,
yeah,
Nigel.
and
I
I'm sure
appreciate that.
Dev feels the same way. Dev's a couple years older than you, but not that much.
No, it blows age is not a factor, When you get past a certain age, it's just like, who knows, whatever anymore. But it's totally mind blowing, yeah, because we haven't seen each other for, I don't even know, maybe 10 years. I have no idea. Maybe a little longer. And it's just to see that people are doing, everybody connecting, and like you're doing these unbelievable things that
Yeah.
is a thing, it's something that this world we should have got into a long time ago. But that you're pushing the front lines of this thing at the age that we are is just like it's so inspiring. It's so inspiring to because sometimes I get up and I'm like, oh, I'm gotta pay rent. How am I gonna save the world today? Fuck. But to know that it's like no, it's like you just got to take those steps. You got to do the thing. You got to be driven. You got to get up. You got to be motivated to make a difference. And you're super inspiring. You're hella smart. You got the charisma, like my dad was saying. You got that spark,
Got that
and it's
spark.
just like let's go.
You
What
guys are
what
gassing
can't
me up.
what can't you do?
Well,
Where's
I
the sky's
I
the limit?
appreciate that. And like yeah, I mean, I've tried a bunch of different times when it comes to sustainable fashion ventures. I've failed even more times,
Mm,
and I think it's all like, yeah, I guess I am definitely someone who's very impact driven, and so I think that's what kind of keeps me going because
mm,
it's been tough.
yeah.
Um, there's been a lot of challenges along the way, and I think I'm lucky with the team I have this time.
Mm,
Hmm.
And it's been like, yeah, I'm really grateful for the people I'm working with, and I think that makes all the difference. And this is like, I don't even know what number I'm on when it comes to taking an attempt and trying to do something in this space. So I'm
Mhm.
trying, and as we all
Yeah.
are, and I think that's at one point like you do as
Yeah.
best as you can.
Yeah. I'll share another little quick story with you. I was feeling the same, and before we started recording here, we are talking about ups and downs and middles and things of life. And yeah, you can get kind of knocked down sometimes, and as we all do. And again, it's a learning experience. Hopefully, if we can take that. But I was actually all of us, a bunch of us, Devin, we were all down in Guatemala. That was in 2012. Um, we were in Tikal, right in the middle of the Mayan universe where the Mayas were. And one of the people we were with, he said, take half an hour and go and just think about things. And I just, it wasn't resonating with me. I was just like, okay. So I walked off into the jungle, sat down against this kapok tree, beautiful, beautiful, massive tree. And I sat there and I'm like, oh, this is just, I wasn't in the right headspace. And I was just like, what am I doing? What am I doing? I really want to help save the world or do good. I want to do good. I want to do good, but I'm trying, but does it really make a difference? Like I don't know. Like I don't know if it's making a difference. Like we went to Mexico so many times with you guys, and then you think, oh God, is that really making a difference? And then we did this. Oh, is that really making a difference? And with you like the straws, eradicating straws. Is that really going to change the world? And I'm like, it just wasn't like, I don't know, maybe not. And I sat there and I looked down, and Devin knows this story. I looked down and I saw these cutter ants, and these cutter ants were all passing. And I don't know how I didn't step on them. And they were this beautiful string of cutter ants all going through the jungle right by my foot. And I just sat there and I watched them carrying their little piece, their stick, their leaf, whatever, back to the nest. And and I sat there and I watched them. And I had a bracelet on my wrist. I took it off and I blocked them. And they stopped and they looked at it and then they kind of went around it and they just kept on going. And I just thought, that's what it is. That's what it's got to be. It's nature, just like you said, looking at nature for answers. And I felt I was trying as much as I could to make a difference, but I said, it's not me. It's not me. It's everybody around the planet that I may never meet, I may never, come in contact with, but every little bit and all of us working
Mm.
together will make a massive change. So I'm the old guy here. And so I feel like, oh, I've done, okay, I've been trying to do whatever I can. But then seeing people like you, all you got, you, Devin and Jaya and everybody doing what you guys do to make the world better for everybody, collectively we all make a difference, and that's what it is. Like the cutter ants, they're all doing their little bit, and the guy at the front may never meet the guy at the back, but that doesn't matter. Collectively we do make a difference, and we create this energy and this momentum, and so yeah, super super inspiring what you're doing. Yeah.
I thank you for sharing that. I think that's something that you kind of constantly have to remind yourself because otherwise it
Yes.
can just feel so
it
overwhelming and like
it is.
what are you doing? And I think my mindset towards sustainability has also changed dramatically from when I started with the straws.
Mm-hmm.
Because then I think I also put too much pressure on myself as a consumer to hold the weight of climate change. And that's also a little bit unrealistic. So it's like kind of coming somewhere in the middle with having this level of optimism, but also this level of realism and trying your best and like allowing yourself to define sustainability in a way that's also kind of personable. Like there isn't really a broad, wide range, solid definition of what sustainability means. And so even when it comes to fashion, I think like when a lot of my friends will ask me like, so what do you do? And my answer, like, so one of the ventures I tried and it didn't go anywhere, but I wanted to allow shoppers to define the way that they how define your val it was called wear your values. And so the idea was that you could shop sustainably based on your values. So whether or not you want to buy things that are made from organic materials or that are made from recycled materials, or maybe it's made by someone local. And so like all of those have their own pros and cons, and
Mm-hmm.
it's hard to really say what is better, but it's like making that educated, conscious decision into how are you defining it, what matters most to you, and like understanding like how I guess they differentiate. And
Mm-hmm.
so for me, like what I try to do is I try to buy most of my things secondhand,
Yeah.
and I'll try my best to buy from brands that I can do a lot of research on, whose values I align with. And then there's a small portion of my closet where the brands might not be sustainable at all, but I'm buying the piece with intention to have it in my closet for as long as I can, repair it for as long as I can.
Mm-hmm.
And all of those things, I think are sustainable in its own way. And so that mindset has also taken a little bit of the pressure off of me into saying that I need
Mm,
to do everything. It needs to be this, that has to have this certification, whatnot. And
Mhm.
because sometimes it can be a little depressing and a little overwhelming about trying
mm,
to like make sure you're really doing your part as a consumer. And at one point, you just have to live your life. But
mm.
how can you do so in a way that's still um, making you feel like good about what you're buying, what you're supporting, and in my case, what you're wearing?
Mhm.
That's super refreshing to hear because it's like, yeah, you're a real person. You're
Yeah.
a real person. And, sometimes you get people doing, environmental stuff that are kind of like, I don't know, like pretentious in a way. Like, I'm doing
Mhm.
more than you. And or you meet
Mm.
people at like festivals who are like, I'm spiritually awakened and like,
Yeah.
I'm a vegan and all this shit. And I'm like, well, like, really? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know what you do behind closed doors, but you're coming off kind of like, but that means a lot. Being like, yo, like this is the stuff I'm fighting for. This is what I want to happen. But at the end of the day, I am a real person, and I'm going to do the
Mhm.
best I can. And that
Mhm.
totally takes that weight off the shoulders of being like every single thing. Where's all the plastic in my house? Get rid of all of it. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Because it's
Awesome.
not fair to say that one person has to do it all.
Mm,
Like
No, that's true.
pick your battles and like try to just like educate yourself as much as you can and like you know like
mm,
I don't know. I think like eco anxiety is definitely becoming a thing in this generation
mm,
where like, we're just becoming so overly conscious of all of our decisions where we just become anxious and then oftentimes that just leads to inaction. Then we don't do anything. And
Yeah, yeah,
you just it's not fair to expect people to do everything. It's just
yeah.
pick your battles.
We talked about that with our last guest with was this anxiety around climate change, the anxiety around system. It's just so overwhelming,
Yeah.
and yeah, yeah. What something that I really noticed, we were down in New Zealand last year, because Dylan was living down there for a while, and it was really neat to see what they have, these opportunity shops everywhere, like everywhere,
mm,
and they're secondhand stores. We call them secondhand stores, they call them opportunity shops, and it's just become part of the culture down there. People normally go to these places to look for clothes, and there's really great stuff. And you see it kind of popping up more and more as opposed to the Salvation Army or the whatever, which is great. They're really great. But now it's because it wasn't cool and trendy. Now I can see it kind of getting a little bit of a grip to go to these places, and it is cool and trendy. You can get, great deals and great clothing and just recycle the clothing that we have, even if it is like you said, the polypropylene or whatnot. But
Mhm.
if we can keep using it as opposed to buying new and disposing of the last stuff. Yeah. So it is becoming part of our culture. I think it was something that, oh, you just don't do that. You just don't go to a secondhand store, you know.
Mhm.
mm,
Well, now it's slowly like it's just starting. I think it's just starting.
I
So I
think
think
it's becoming
you guys,
trendy,
yeah.
which is nice.
Yeah, yeah. Because I
totally.
know Keena and these like Keena, like those guys are always, and you Dev and B and Dylan. I mean, Dylan was like you say, dumpster diving. He was literally dumpster diving in university, for clothes and for for food. He was getting he'd go to the Whole Foods. Whole Foods is great. Go to Whole Foods if they're throwing it out. It's just if it's still in
Yeah.
the package, it's fine, right? I mean, why not?
Yeah. I
But
mean, I think we don't try to like hold on to things. I've had a
Mm,
pair of shoes. I've taken them to there's this guy named JJ's Shoe Repair. I've taken them to
yeah,
him like at least 5 times.
yeah, yeah. Well, that was
Um,
in the day they were cobblers, right? So people would
yeah,
always go and get their shoes. They would buy new
mm,
shoes because they couldn't. They would always get their shoes repaired. So all these industries were for fixing your clothes. And it just went to the way of the wayside in the 1950s. I think it was just all get new, new,
mm,
new, 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 new. Consumerism was born after the Second World War, and poof,
yeah,
you know,
yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Consumerism, yeah. It just always has us wanting more.
mm,
yeah, yeah,
And
exactly. Yeah,
yeah,
just eat, 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 eat the world,
yeah.
and the gluttony is. Oh, anyway, don't get me going. Um, I just got back from New Orleans there, and it was like, oh my gosh, okay, nothing about New Orleans. The people are amazing, but yeah, you see some gluttony, and it's just like, oh my gosh,
mm,
as
Yeah.
humans, as human species, it's this thing. We just become gluttons in its disposability, and but you're one of those people that are really trying to help make that change. And again, if you're able to just change, the thing just that much, you've done your
Mhm.
job. right?
I
Just a little tick, and then it's the next person, the next person, and it just gets this momentum, and next thing you know, yeah,
Well, thank you for having this podcast and shining light to all the amazing people that you've had. Because similarly to the show, like so much of this is just is storytelling and having
yeah,
platforms to allow
yeah,
people to
exactly.
share and inspire others, hopefully. And so, thank you for having me
Yeah,
and
yeah.
for doing
And do you want to
this.
give a shout out? The name of the show again is
Plus One Eco Odyssey.
Plus One Eco Odyssey. So check it out on you said it's a YouTube. It'll be out on the YouTube channel,
Yep.
and then vote and thumbs up, share, all that stuff. Right,
Right.
Dev?
And Team Jaya, anything with my
Absolutely.
name would be really
Yeah.
appreciated.
Thank you so much for coming on the show today. Oh, sorry.
He's got the cough
Dying
going.
over
I
here.
hope you're feeling better,
No, I'm
Devin.
fine. I'm fine.
Uh,
Thank you so much for coming on the show today. Nige said like change the wheel a little bit. I totally agree with that, but I believe that you're gonna change the wheel completely. Like this is something that's absolutely massive. So thank you so
mhm.
much for being who you are. Thank you so much for coming on the show. Guys, if you want to know more, we'll put everything, the link in the description of the video. And other than that, we'll have to have you back when we
Absolutely.
got some more
Absolutely.
information, when we can talk about the
Yep.
show.
Yeah, then we could talk
Yeah,
about the show. Yeah.
Yeah,
we'll talk
yeah.
about the
Well,
text
thank you
the
so much
TikTok.
both for having me. I appreciate it.
No, thanks, Jay. Thanks for all you that you're doing. It's incredible. Yeah, just very proud of you. So, yeah.
Thank you. Trying.
Yeah, keep on trying. You're doing a great job. Okay.
All
Cheers.
right.
Bye.
Bye.